Hi, it's Chris P. Williams here with another quick tutorial on Affinity Photo. And today is going to be very quick. It's just a quick tip really. I'm just going to open an image up, and it's a raw image that's going to open up into the develop module. And before I start, I'm going to go up to my assistant manager and I'm going to ensure that take no action has been highlighted under tone curve and under noise correction. So in effect, we're now working with a totally flat raw image with no adjustments from Affinity Photo. So I'm just going to close that now. Now the only adjustment I'm going to make to this image is a quick white balance, and to do this I'm just going to click on W as a shortcut, and I'm going to zoom in on one of these pearls, and I'm just going to click on the white area of the pearl, and if I zoom out, that's made my adjustment for me. Now obviously there's a lot more I can do to this image, such as I could increase the exposure, do something with the brightness, do something with the saturation, but that's not the purpose of this tutorial. The purpose of this tutorial is show you a quick fix, really, a quick fix tool. And to do this, I'm just going to click on develop, and we're going to go to the tone mapping persona. Now ordinarily the tone mapping persona would be used to adjust HDR images, but in this case I'm going to use it just to do a quick fix on this image of the mask. We'll just let Affinity Photo do its work here. It's basically creating various tone maps, and if you look on the left hand side here, you've got a natural look, a detailed look, a cool look, high contrast black and white, and dramatic. And I'm going to click on the dramatic one in this case because I think it looks quite interesting. And there you can see it's had an immediate effect on our image. It looks very contrasty and very saturated. Now what we can do, we can go into our tone map palette on the right, and the first thing I want to do is I'm going to use this tone compression, and I'm going to tell Affinity Photo that I don't want it to compress the image as much as it has, and I think dropping it down to about there will do the job. Local contrast is very similar to clarity in the develop persona, and again I'm just going to drop that slightly because I think it's looking a little bit over detailed and overly sharp, and I think that might work. I might pump up the exposure slightly, but you can see what I mean. It gives you an interesting starting point as opposed to using the develop persona and applying a suggested curve from Affinity Photo. So again, I'm just going to go to the saturation now and drop that slightly because it is looking a little bit oversaturated, and I think we're there. Of course, with the saturation slider, it is a little bit aggressive, so if you want to make more subtle adjustments, you can use the Vibrance Slider, which basically controls more localized colors as opposed to overall color. So you can see we can make more subtle adjustments to the image, and I think that's looking pretty good. And I can turn on my shadows and highlights palette, and I think I'm just going to lift my shadows slightly, and I'll leave my highlights as they are. And the detail tool, again, I think it's overly detailed. In fact, no. I think if I zoom in on here, it's having quite a nice effect on the stitching here. So I'll leave that as is. But when I did zoom in, one thing you did notice is the noise that's been introduced. The noise, but we'll address that a little bit later on. Now I'm just going to press Control and 0 now to zoom out again. And if we scroll down even further, you can see we've got the curves tool, which we can use to again further enhance our contrast or make further contrast adjustments. But I'll leave that as is because I think it's looking pretty good. So I'll just click on the reset tool to put that back to its normal state. Okay, I'm just going to now return to the photo persona, and to do that you just simply click on the apply tool. And we're back in the photo persona, and now we can look at addressing the noise. So I'll just zoom in slightly so you can see the noise in this eye socket here. And I'm just going to duplicate my layer, Control and J, and we're going to go to Layer, New Live Layer. You can scroll down to the denoise filter. I'm going to look at the color noise first, and it's going to slide this slider to the right. And you can see now that the red and magenta noise has disappeared. And I'm going to drop the detail. And now we can look at the luminance. I'm just going to increase the luminance by quite a bit and you can see the effect we've had. We've softened that grainy noise in the eye socket. I think I'll take it all the way to the right, and again, that's had quite a dramatic effect. It's not got rid of it totally, but I think I can live with that. I'm just going to pump up the colour noise as well, because there is still a little bit present on the right hand side here, and I think that is looking pretty damn good, and I'll commit to that. And if I press Control and 0 to zoom out, and that's our adjusted image. Now I think you'll agree that that was quite a quick adjustment we made there, from a raw flat negative image, just using the tone mapping tool really, and a little bit of white balance in the develop persona. So hopefully you found that useful, and it started you thinking about alternative uses for the tone mapping tool. And thanks very much for watching.